In this video, we'll explore Singapore, known as the world's priciest city. According to a survey conducted by the Economist Intelligence Unit, Singapore and New York are tied as the world's most expensive cities to live in, both scoring 100 on the index. This score is based on the prices of over 200 goods and services across 172 cities worldwide. The high cost of living is attributed to the city's high incomes and strong exchange rates. In response to the rising expenses, the Hong Kong government has approved substantial wage subsidies for employers under the Financial Hub's Employment Support Scheme. As a result, employees in Singapore are considering seeking new job opportunities or taking on additional roles to cope with the increasing cost of living. In this tight labor market, employers in Asia are advised to understand and adapt to the changing priorities of the workforce to attract and retain talent. Recent trends such as quiet quitting and the Great Resignation indicate that employees are reevaluating their priorities and redefining work for themselves. According to EIU, the worldwide cost of living has seen an 8.1% increase in local currency this year compared to the previous year, marking the highest inflation rate recorded since the inception of digital worldwide cost of living surveys. Rapid increases in petrol prices, along with sharp rises in utility and food prices, have contributed to this trend. However, the EIU notes that high inflation is not the sole determinant of a city's ranking in the cost of living index. A stronger currency and structural factors such as competition and demand also play significant roles. In the current economic climate, inflation and an uncertain outlook are causing workplace anxiety, leading professionals to contemplate career changes or seek higher-paying jobs. Furthermore, C-suite members suggest that the workplace benefits enjoyed by employees in the Asia-Pacific region during the pandemic are now at risk of being withdrawn. It's news that might not bring a smile to everyone's face. Singapore has once again secured the top position alongside New York as the world's most expensive city to live in. This isn't a new occurrence either, as Singapore has now claimed first place in the Economist Intelligence Unit's Worldwide Cost of Living Index for the 8th time in the past decade. The EIU's biannual survey involved comparing over 400 individual prices across more than 200 products and services in 172 cities. This included items like food, clothing, household supplies, and transportation. In the previous year, Israel's Tel Aviv held the top spot, with Singapore sharing the second position with Paris, the capital of France. According to the survey, Singapore has consistently faced a high cost of living. Let us discuss more about these 4 compelling reasons why Singapore is renowned as the most expensive city in the world. One significant factor contributing to Singapore's status as the most expensive city is high inflation. The EIU has highlighted that high inflation has resulted in soaring costs of living in major cities worldwide, including Singapore. According to the survey, the average prices of goods in local currency terms have surged by 8.1% this year, the fastest rate in at least 20 years. Petrol prices have experienced the most rapid increases, while utility and food prices have also risen sharply, as noted by the EIU. In Singapore, overall or headline inflation is projected to average around 6% this year, as stated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and the Ministry of Trade and Industry in their latest consumer price update. Food and accommodation have been identified as contributors to this increase in costs. In addition to high inflation, another factor contributing to Singapore's ranking as the most expensive city is its strong currency. The EIU considers that a stronger currency tends to result in a higher ranking, as prices appear higher when converted into international common currency, typically US dollars. The EIU converts local currency prices into US dollars to calculate the index for each city. Exchange rates against the US dollar play a significant role in determining the rankings. Singapore's strong currency has consistently positioned it at the top of the EIU's index. This year, the US dollar has strengthened against many currencies due to the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. However, the Singapore dollar has remained resilient against these hikes, thanks to the country's substantial foreign currency reserves and robust current account surplus. Trade disruptions caused by the war in Ukraine and COVID-19 restrictions have had an impact on Singapore's high cost of living. Inflation for food and household goods has been elevated due to trade restrictions influenced, in part, by the conflict in Ukraine. Notably, petrol prices have experienced significant increases, with the average price per liter rising by 22% year-on-year in local currency terms. These increases are attributed to higher global oil prices and the stronger US dollar. As an open economy, Singapore is not immune to global trade challenges. The prices at fuel pumps, for instance, surpassed $4 for the first time in June this year, due to discussions surrounding a potential ban on Russian oil and increased post-pandemic demand from other economies. The rising prices of energy commodities have also resulted in an average 11% increase in local currency terms for utility bills like electricity and gas across the 172 cities surveyed. Singapore is known for its expensive discretionary goods, as highlighted by EIU. The city-state has the highest transport prices globally, mainly due to strict government controls on the number of cars allowed. Additionally, Singapore is among the most expensive cities for clothing, alcohol, and tobacco. Individuals residing in Singapore who desire a lifestyle slightly above average are likely to spend on these items. In fact, a study conducted by DBS revealed an increase in discretionary spending among Singaporeans over the past year. More people have indulged in food, alcohol, entertainment, and travel, potentially driving prices higher due to the growing demand. According to the Singaporean Trade Ministry, the cost of living index may not accurately reflect the actual expenses of typical households in Singapore. The ministry stated that the consumption basket tracked by the Economist Intelligence Unit includes items such as international foreign daily newspapers, which are not commonly consumed by Singaporeans. The government has implemented support measures to alleviate living costs and address people's concerns. Over the next year, Singaporeans can expect prices to gradually ease as supply bottlenecks are resolved and the economy adjusts to consumer demand. The backlog caused by disruptions in the supply chain is also expected to improve as freight rates decrease and demand stabilizes. The EIU forecasts a decrease in global consumer price inflation from an average of 9.4% last year to 6.5% this year. However, this projection is contingent on the war in Ukraine not escalating. The EIU predicts that commodity prices for energy, food, and supplies like metal will likely decrease sharply this year compared to 2022 levels, although they may still be higher than previous levels. What do you think about living in Singapore? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more from us, make sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our captivating stories about all things expensive, only here on Superstructures.